Hi, this is Dr. Nick. I'm the Incrementalist here with incremental insights for better business and better health. So lots of changes as always with this fast-moving pandemic that's sweeping across our world, and many things to think about as a business and also as an individual. So first off, when we talk about information that comes from the news media and from other sources, I would implore you to focus on the source of the media and to really dig into understand where that information is coming from so that you can validate it. What we find, or at least I find with a lot of the media sources, is they tend to pick out small segments or elements of the information, but don't give you the full story, and sometimes pick up the wrong sequence or the wrong insight that comes from the science, or the science as best as we understand it. Case in point, this concept that if you've had COVID-19, you can get it again. As best as we know, we don't understand what the story is with regards to coronavirus and specifically COVID-19. That particular virus, we don't have enough information to be able to assess that. But our best understanding of coronaviruses is there is at least some level of immunity and some duration of that immunity that will be established for individuals that have had it. It does get changed based on how bad the disease or the symptoms that you may have had, how much of a virus load and so forth, and individual responses. But I wouldn't sort of take that as a real negative. Now, as far as what that means for us and opening up businesses, well, the reality is that you're going to have to start thinking about how you open up your business. And this is going to be very different for different places. One of the things that I'm very excited about that we'll be launching in the very near future is a whole process that includes training modules, that will include consultancy and guidance, and essentially a self-service that essentially takes all of that information and uses the resources that I have, or with my colleagues and co-workers, will be working on taking the science and the basis of the information from reliable sources like the CDC, the WHO, and so forth, and putting that into discernible nuggets of information that you can think about for your business. As an example, when you think about the security access to your building, I can't tell you the number of places that I find where we have access points quite often with keypad entries. Of course, that's going to be a real problem. I saw that in the supermarkets where we had keypad entry for entering information or your telephone number. And of course, I found them covered in cling film or plastic wrap. And when I asked, I thought that was maybe for protection, but in fact it was protecting the actual device. It was getting water damaged. It had never been designed to be wiped down essentially every time, which of course was a good practice from a decrease in the spread of disease, but a bad practice from the technology. So we've got to rethink the technology. I would imagine that we're going to use much more in the way of touchless interaction. So we have the Apple Pay as an example, or any of the touchless pay mechanisms where you don't actually touch anything, you just sweep it across as a sensor. We're going to see much more of that. I would imagine the same thing in business settings, and particularly as you come in, I think we'll see more in the way of automatic door entries. I know that can be difficult in smaller places, but it's going to be more important because then you won't have to think about the handles that need to be cleaned and obviously the people coming in and out and the access points. Many things to think about, and I think what's important is giving people the steps to allow them to safely bring their employees back to work, and how to incorporate the best of our knowledge up to today. And I will tell you that that's going to be changing on an ongoing basis. There is no possibility that everything that we know now will be the same in 1 week, 1 month, or even 1 year. We're going to have new information and obviously new insights into the disease and potentially new treatments in the way that we mitigate it, both in terms of actual treatments for the disease and prevention of the disease. All of that will apply and will need to be applied on an ongoing basis. And I think what every company is going to need is some form of a medical director to tease that out. Many companies won't be able to afford that. And my sense of this is that you're going to need experts that you bring in on a consultative basis that will give you those insights so that you get some extra capacity and some reliable resources to help guide you and to give your employees, your customers and so forth, that certainty of an appropriate business that is helping protect them as they return to work. The good news is we will be returning to work. Our society, our world is resilient to all sorts of challenges and changes. This is one of those changes. It will be an inflection point that I think everybody will remember where they were at the time, much like my parents' generation remembered certain specific things in their world, and it will impact the way that we behave. But it's not a negative thing. It's just a new environment, one that we have to adapt to, and we can. And the good news is there are people that can help you and guide you through that process so that you can do it safely and for the best benefits of your business and your employees and your customers. I'm Dr. Nick. I'm the Incrementalist, here with incremental insights for your business and your health.